Hey, we're live, guys. We're live. I'm Jeff with eBay Addicts, and today my special guest is Angie Resells. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm happy to be here, Jeff, and appreciate you inviting me on to your channel.
Oh, well, thank you for coming by and hanging out with me. We appreciate you.
There we go. I'm sorry.
So I said we appreciate you coming on and hanging out with us. So for people in the chat, if they don't know who you are, do you want to go ahead and introduce yourselves so people know who you are? Tell people who you are, what you do, where you're from, all the good stuff.
Sounds great. I am Angie. My channel is Angie Resells, and obviously I'm a reseller. I'm in Pensacola, Florida, and I have been selling on eBay. This year will be 23 years. I started when my daughter was super young and been selling ever since. Sometimes I'm part-time, sometimes I'm full-time, just depending on what the situation is at the time, but I sell things from thrift stores, yard sales. I do a lot of liquidations, and I love to do retail arbitrage if it's like a super good price, like at Amazon stores and things like that. So that's about it. I am in love with eBay. It's pretty much the only place I sell other than Facebook Marketplace.
Well, you come to the right place. So yeah, so I wanted to tell you guys, the viewers, in case you guys are watching, Angie has been a reseller now for 22 years, correct?
Yes.
So it's not like, one of those things when they say 20 years to become an overnight success. So you've been putting in work on eBay for 20 years consecutively, working on your eBay store. You've got like a black belt when it comes to reselling, right?
Right.
Right. The black belt of reselling here. So tell me, how did you manage? You survived Christmas. We got New Year's coming up. How are things been going for you?
Really well. I did a cute thing with my channel and did the 12 days of Christmas giveaway. So really, honestly, my listing has been slacking for December, but I was okay with that considering the post office issues that have been going on. And I just wanted to get a chance to spend more time with my YouTube. And but I am glad the holidays are over for the most part. New Year's is still here, but I'm ready to get busy in 2021 and try to grow my eBay store back up to where it's been in the past.
Okay, awesome. So what do you specialize in on reselling on eBay? Do you have a certain niche, or do you just do a little bit of everything? Or what is your one particular items that you're looking for when you're out to do reselling?
Jeff, I really like to sell anything that's going to make money. I am not one of these people that will spend $500 to make $600. I try to find really good deals that I can flip pretty quickly, and that's kind of my model. I can sell everything from Bibles to clothing to shoes to electronics, whatever I happen across. That's kind of what I do. Now, I do a lot of HBA just because health and beauty products, you always need them. You always need to replenish them. So that's always a really good thing. But I have interesting sources for that kind of stuff. So I would say I do a lot of that, but anything that comes, along, that's pretty much what I'm selling.
Okay, awesome. So I was watching your channel the other day, and I don't know if this is true or not, but I heard a rumor that you spent $28 and you came home with like 100 items. So tell people the backstory, how that happened, and one of some of your sourcing techniques, because everybody has a little bit of a different strategy, and you got 20 years of reselling. So maybe you can kind of tell us the backstory on how that works. And also I was curious if you can tell us about how you get these 25-cent items. Go ahead.
Sure, absolutely. One of the great things, once you learn eBay a long time, you learn certain places to source that are your little honey spots. But I also came across a place that's coming up and around the country, which is Crazy CAZBOYS. So they're one of my latest ones. Now, everything at that store starts at $7 on a Friday, but by Wednesday, everything in the store is only 25 cents. Now, a lot of people go there and say, oh, this is garbage. It's, there's just stuff scattered everywhere and, torn packages. But if you look closely and you look beyond what most people are looking for, there's some great items to be found left over that everyone else has overlooked, whether it's health and beauty products, car parts, refrigerator filters, you name it, I have found it there. And if you take your phone with you and you're just starting out, you absolutely can look up these items right there and see how you can turn something for 25 cents into 15, 20, 30 dollars. One of the items I bought there for 25 cents was a little car part. It had no packaging. I did Google Lens to find out what it was, and it sold in a day for $65. So not a bad return on investment there for sure.
Yeah, when you start talking about buying items for 50 cents and a quarter, you get my attention. That's my price range right there. I can do that. I think I can reach in it's almost like when you're at an arcade and you're looking for quarters to put in the arcade machine. I can do that. I can dig that. So when you start talking about 50 cents and quarter and dollar merchandise, that's in my wheelhouse. That's the price range that we're looking for. I wanted to say hi to January House. Says, hey, eBay addicts and Angie Resells. Thanks for coming by, January House. We appreciate you coming by. So yeah, for sure, there you can definitely find some items in the rough and go into these like bin stores, and you can get like fill a bag. You can go there on dollar days. I was just looking up today in Tampa where I live to see if they had any of those crazy CAZBOY places you were talking about. I couldn't find one. The closest one to me was up near where you live, up in Pensacola. But I did Google it just to look to see. They have a couple of bin stores here nearby Tampa, and you go there on Wednesdays, and I think it's $1 per item on Wednesdays. But the only problem is they won't let you pay with cash. You have to pay with your debit or credit card only. So, but I'll go there and look around and check it out and see what I can find, and I'll report back to you and let you know if I find anything good. You know,
definitely let me know.
We'll see how it goes. So when you go to these places like fill a bag places and you get these items, also I was going to say, besides using Google Lens, you can also take a photo of your item and look it up on eBay that way. And
absolutely.
you can take a picture of the item, and then you can try to do image search on eBay, and that will help you find if there's no barcode, you don't have a clue of what it resells for, you can try that out as well. So when you go to these places, is there any other places that you source at? You like doing like estate sales and yard sales? What are some of the other places that you like sourcing at to get merchandise to resell on eBay?
Yeah. Honestly, in my area, estate sales are extremely, extremely overpriced. So I do a lot of yard sales, and luckily in Florida, we pretty much have yard sales all year long. I have very lucky that I live 3 minutes from a Goodwill Bins, though I think it's the smallest one in the country. It is, a bin store right up the road. And then I recommend always to new people to check your local thrift stores, especially ones who are not the Goodwill and not the Salvation Army. Check the small local ones, because a lot of times they have great sales. You just have to know what day of the month you need to go there. For instance, we have one here called St. Vincent de Paul, and you go on the first Monday of the month, and you could fill a giant bag full of everything in their store for $5. So, I mean, it's a great deal. You just got to start going to these off-the-wall places and see what you can find.
Yeah.
Are you still there, Jeff?
And I'm having internet connection issues. I got to reboot. I'll be right back. I just wanted to say hi to Sal in the chat, so I'll be right back. Okay, I apologize.
No problem. Another one that I go to is I have a consignment store that a lot of people.
I'm having issues right now with my cell phone connection.
So I go to a consignment store that is actually pretty high end, but they have this really in the back, a really cool little rack. And once in a while, they'll have a clear the rack sale. So you can buy 10 items on there for $15. Well, I have found amazing shoes, Lily Pulitzer and Vince Camuto and lots of other things on that rack that no one knows about it. It's just this little hidden gem. So, and when I go there, because they know I'm a reseller, I'm super upfront and honest about it. They oftentimes will tell me or pull stuff from the back and say, hey, we're getting rid of this. And let me look through it, which is really, really cool. I do like that. I would say for anyone new, I actually don't recommend liquidation to start, because liquidation, you just never, ever know what you're going to get. Joey Bada Bing. Hey there, Joey. So you just never know what you're going to get with liquidation. If you have a lot of experience and money to burn, you can do liquidations, but you have to be prepared to lose all your money. I had an HBA pallet that I got about a year ago, and every single thing in there, from protein shakes to all the medications, everything in there was either expired or expiring that month. So I literally blew $1,000 and got little to nothing back on that one.
Sorry, I'm back, Angie. So you were talking about buying like pallets of merchandise. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, I was just saying it's, I don't recommend that for brand new eBayers, just because there is high risk in liquidations. Everyone likes, we see that as the big thing whenever it seems exciting to buy liquidations, but it can definitely be a crapshoot if you're doing liquidations. You can usually make better use of your money pinpointing the items that you buy, whether it's, at Goodwill or at thrift stores or garage sales. Spend that $100 and buy, 25 or 100 items that can sell and you can you can make a profit on, instead of a crapshoot of just a miscellaneous box that a lot of times it's not what it's cracked up to be. So bulk used to be great for some things, but they've saturated the market, and a lot of times you get like the junk no one wants. So hey, Mike, how are things going? Mike is January House. He has great auctions 2 days a week. I love going over there, but sometimes the stuff's so expensive. Like you get so many people bidding on this stuff, and outbids me every time. So not a bad problem to have, Mike.
Yeah, for sure. I wanted to say hi to Joey Bada Bing in the chat. Sal is here, and January House is here. So Sal says, what do you like to sell? What do you like to sell only on eBay? They want to know what other platforms you sell on besides eBay.
I can tell you that the only thing I sell on Poshmark is occasionally shoes and boots. And the reason I only do that is because shipping is $7 up to £5 on Poshmark. So for me, people can buy boots much cheaper that way. And in my situation, I have bought pallets of boots, so it's worth it for me to put them over there rather than eBay. I'm most likely it's going to cost $12 or $13 to ship a pair of boots. Then I do Facebook Marketplace, but honestly, I am almost exclusively eBay. I really try to target everything that I buy to that market. It's what I've done for over 20 years. And, I always hear eBay's going to that's the end of them. They're not going to succeed. But, 23 years later, I'm still making money. Yeah, it's, you got to work for it. You got to hustle for it. But it has provided everything that I could ever want to, be self-reliant and be your own business person and get out there and determine how much money you're making just by the amount of effort you put in. That's what else could you ask for?
Right. So Angie, are you a full-time reseller right now, or do you have another full-time job you're working, or are you just doing reselling full-time at the moment?
Well, I am an accountant, and I'm very fortunate that I work from home for a corporation, so my schedule is super flexible. Honestly, I would say I also do eBay full-time because I work just as many hours doing eBay as I do at my day job, my day job. But I can do that because, I was a single mom for a lot of years. My daughters are 20 and 23 now. And so I have a lot of time. I have a lot of time to do that, and it keeps me busy. I don't know how, everybody on here, I'm sure how do people sit at home and watch TV and do nothing all night? I can't even imagine that. From the time I get up till the time I go to bed, I'm pretty much busy. And that's how I like to be. So it works for me, and I'd rather it be like that.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, eBay can definitely feel like a full-time job when you're dealing with customer returns, customers asking you questions, listing, shipping. I mean, it could be a lot to deal with, especially depending on what size store you have. So, can you tell us a little bit of your backstory of how you first got started into reselling? Were you watching YouTube videos, or were you like going yard sales with friends? Like, tell people how you first got started into reselling. I'm just curious.
Right. Well, I started eBay before YouTube was a thing. So if that tells you anything. When I started, there wasn't a single YouTube video at all, let alone anything on reselling. I lived in Hawaii. I was in a military family, and my neighbor happened to say, "Oh, I found this thing in California, eBay, where you can sell some things." And at the time, I had a 5-month-old baby who I was obsessed with dressing her head to toe in gymboree outfits. And I thought, hey, let me check it out and see. You know, I was kind of bored. Who can be bored in Hawaii, right? But I was. When you live there, it's a little different. But I said, okay, I'll try it. But then when you wanted to sell something, you had to get your little 110 camera out and take pictures and go get them developed. And then I had to buy a flatbed scanner to scan them on, and then upload them and style up. And so it was not like it is now. But let me tell you what, eBay was fun back then. You could start every single thing at 99 cents, and things would go up to $20 and $30 and $50, and everyone paid. You didn't have non-paying bidders ever. People paid with cash in envelopes closed up, and or money orders, and it was great. I was hooked from that point on, and I just started going to yard sales. And most people say, how can you do it from Hawaii? Well, when I started, it was $3.25 for 2-pound priority mail anywhere across the country. You can't even imagine that now. But from Hawaii, I could ship things for $3.25, and they would get there in 2 days. It was much different at that time. So it was great for me because I could find really unique things people couldn't find in the States, and I just started selling them, and it grew from there.
Okay, awesome. So I wanted to touch on a couple things real quick that you were talking about earlier. First thing I wanted to talk a little bit about is the Goodwill bins. When you go to the Goodwill bins, because there's a couple. I live just north of Tampa, but they have a Goodwill bins in St. Pete, and then they have one in Orlando. So if someone hasn't been to the Goodwill bins, can you kind of tell them? I kind of call it the weigh and pay. You go in there, and then they weigh your shopping cart when it's empty, and I think they weigh you when you go out, and then they charge you so much per pound. So can you talk a little bit about that, about going to the Goodwill bins, like what to expect? Do you need to wear gloves? Do you need to have elbow pads? Like, what do you need to do when you go into that place? Like, talk a little bit about that, and then I wanted to talk a little bit about about going to like church thrift stores, because if you guys don't know, there's a lot of thrift stores, and in the back room in some of these churches, they don't really advertise it. There will be like a little small blurb like below the sign, and it'll have like a little place where you can go to for the back of the church, and they have a little like almost like a little yard sale or thrift store there, and you can get items really, really cheap. I mean, I'm telling you guys, you can get items, ball caps for a quarter, 50 cents. You can get neckties for 50 cents. You can get a lot of different items there because they have to move it, because they get a lot of donations that come in, and they have to constantly be moving and turning over the merchandise. So go ahead, Angie. I'm not going to interrupt you. Go ahead.
Okay, absolutely. First of all, as to the Goodwill bins, I live 3 minutes from one Goodwill bin, and then about 40 minutes from the one in Mobile, Alabama. Mine is a very, very small bin, and it's even smaller now since the coronavirus, because they literally have less of the bins. And if you've seen them, I'm sure if you've ever watched anything, it's the big blue bins, and it's pretty crazy. You stand behind the line till they change them out, and then everyone is like, go time. And they run and they kind of elbow each other a little bit. My Goodwill bins just raised their prices to $1.79 a pound, and that's everything except books. We have a great deal on books. It's 30 cents for kids' books, 50 cents for paperbacks, and 75 cents for hardbacks. Now, my particular bins, if something's super heavy, they'll make you a deal. Like I bought a rainbow vacuum there for $5 and sold it for $400. But it is dirty. You will find lots of things that are creepy. Nothing is as gross as putting your hands in clothes and they're wet. Yeah. And we've actually seen a dead mouse in one of the containers before, but you could find amazing, amazing deals. I went in one day and found 12 of the old vintage model airplane kits, brand new in packaging, never opened. And I think I paid $4 for all of them because they were so lightweight, and made a fortune on that kind of stuff. And some days you go in there and it is the pits. But if you're a treasure hunter, it's the place to be. But if you go there thinking you can look through a department or even like a regular Goodwill's, forget it. It's not for you. You have to be willing to dig in and get dirty there. But what Jeff said about the little, the church thrift stores, that's like one of my best sources. We have a little store here called Ministry Village, and they are sponsored by a church, and all of their clothes at 4 weeks go to $1, so 99 cents for clothes. And then the next week they're 25 cents. And some people just don't know about it here. I get so many clothes there that are amazing. Full like military uniforms. And I know Mike had a flight suit on his auction the other day, full flight suits, because we're in a military town, 25 cents, full suits for men and shoes for 99 cents. So definitely be on the lookout for little church thrift stores. If you see a tiny little sign, don't be afraid to go in there and see what they have, and ask them what their specials are, because almost all of them have a day that they need to get rid of things because it's a constant flow for them. They're just there to make a little bit of money for the little, charities that they're supporting, or their in-house support to help needy families and things. So, definitely check them out. And I always say, rather than give your items, if you're going to give a donation, and this time of year is a great time for you to make a donation, try giving it to one of those smaller charities instead of Goodwill, just because it goes so much further for their causes than if you go with the big guys.
Yeah, for sure, guys. I was going to say, first of all, did you say a dead mouse inside of one of those Goodwill bins? Because I thought you said a dead mouse. I would freak out if I was in there pulling something out of the bins and I saw a dead mouse. I'm a guy. I wouldn't scream, but I would yell. I'd be like, "Hey, there's a dead mouse over here!" I would yell, bro. Especially if it startled you. I would be like, "What in the heck is this? There's a mouse in here!" So I would.
How did it get in there? Because they so someone had to have picked it up to put it in there.
Oh my god. Yeah, I get to see them like dumping it into the bins. Yeah. But yeah, guys, if you guys get a chance to check out some of these church thrift stores, because there's some of these places. I sell a ton of media, and I'm telling you guys, I can get DVDs brand new in the shrink wrap, like 4 for $1, like literally 25 cents. You can get. I've got video games in there for 50 cents, and then the next day I paid 50 cents for a video game, and the next day it sold for $20. Because they have to move this merchandise. They're not a big place like Goodwill. They don't have a big back room and a big warehouse to store all this stuff. So they have to get this merchandise, churn and burn it and move it. So you can walk in there and it'll be like 4 for $1. It'll be, and sometimes I'll pull out audiobooks, CDs, DVDs, video games. I'll pick up neckties in there. I'll get, all type of small items of hats, those snap-on hats. You can get them for 50 cents, and you can just walk in there and walk out with 20 of them for $10, And you only need to sell one hat for $10, $15 to make your money back, and the rest is going to be profit. Anyways, I wanted to say hi to Tina in the chat. We got Backroads Bitter here, Chuck. Hey, I see you a lot on Instagram, so thank you for coming by today. I appreciate you. We got Sal in the house, and Jennifer Hayes is here. Says hit the thumbs up. So
hi, Jen.
Thank all of you guys for coming by and hanging out. We appreciate you. So I watched your video recently, and you talked about 5 tips to help people boost their eBay sales. Can you give us some pointers, some help people out with some of their, because some of the stuff when you were like saying you need to list more items. I'm like, she's going to say list more items. Like I was like, Yeah, I kind of like was like, wait a minute, I know what she's gonna say, you know. Yeah. So you want, because there's some people that like maybe their sales were up in fourth quarter, and then after Christmas hit, it kind of plateaued or maybe went down a little bit. I've been selling stuff. I just sold a DVD, guys, just a minute ago. I sold one for $30, and I just sold one for $20. It was and I got it at the Dollar Tree for $1, and it just sold for $20. So if you guys, yeah, it was called like the 4,400 series or something. If you guys look on back on one of my Dollar Tree hauls, I even show you guys. I even say, hey, I picked this up for $1. It's going to sell on eBay for $20, and maybe it didn't sell that day, but maybe a couple weeks or a month later, it sold for full asking price. So you know, there's all different type of merchandise, and there's other tips and tricks that you can do to help stimulate your eBay sales. But you guys didn't want to tune in to hear me talk, so I'm going to let Angie Resell give us our top 5 tips to boost your eBay sales. Okay, I'm going to put you on full screen and.
Sure. Yeah, I just did a video, and it was basically, I get asked a lot. My sales are kind of slow. What do I need to do? How can I improve my sales? And I say the tips that I've been saying for years and years, and that I personally do repeatedly. One is you definitely want to take your old listings that have been on there for a really long time and change maybe your title. Look at your pictures, because you get better at pictures over time, or maybe it was just a cloudy day and your pictures didn't come out great. So consider going in there and changing some of the pictures. Another one you want to do is make sure you are ending your listings and either sell similar or relist. Now, there's some people say you can just relist. I have always done sell similar, so it's up to you, but I think both work. Now we have this good till canceled thing, and people get lazy. Our listings used to end, and then it would force you to do something with them. And eBay didn't like that, because they'd rather your listings get stale, so they don't even have to advertise those items. But when you end your listings and sell similar, you actually put your listings back as, you know, a new listing with fresh eyes. And that absolutely works, because I've done that recently. And every time I do that, I do like 25 or 50 at a time. Literally, I will sell items that I've had on there for 6 months overnight, just because they have new, fresh eyes. Another one is, obviously, your number one thing is to list more. List all the time. The more you list, the more eBay likes you. They just do. They really like you when you are part of the listing. What was my other tip? I'm trying to think.
One of your tips was to do promoted listings, because I have items at 1% because I don't want to give eBay too much money.
Right,
but
exactly.
I do promoted listings. Hold on, go ahead.
No. And the promoted listings, I know I was a firm believer when they first came out with it. I was like, we're just giving eBay more money, you know. So whether you do 1% or 2%, I recommend you try it. Even if you try it for a week and see how it improves your sales. Now, a day is not going to do anything. It's not enough time. And you can even switch up your promotions, meaning do 1% this week, try doing trending. I've never done trending. It's a little high. I think they overinflate the trending rate, but do 1% or 2% or even 3%. Hey, you know, Poshmark charges you 20% to sell. So if you pay a little more on eBay and are getting a little higher dollar, why not take a chance and do that? And the other thing that I recommend highly, highly, highly is to run sales. If you have any kind of eBay store, you can run a sale, even if it's 5%. My magic number seems to be 12%. I run a lot of 12% sales, and I don't run them. When you go in to set up your sale, eBay will say, do you want to run it for 30 days? Heck no, you want to run it for a day or two, because people will see the deadline of the sale ending, and nothing encourages people to buy more than the ending of a sale. So when you're running sales, I make a lot of extra sales. And sometimes even people make me offers off of that sale price. And I might negotiate a little, but I'm like, hey, it's already on sale, which is ending tomorrow. And that just encourages people to really, you know, be opportunistic about the sale price rather than, oh, I can buy that anytime. And really those things will improve your sales dramatically if you do just those few things. Chuck says Angie rocks. Thanks, Chuck.
Yeah, I'm back, guys. So those are some good tips. Like I said, I came across your channel recently, and if you guys get a chance, go check out Angie's channel. I'm a subscriber to her channel, so go by and check it out. Tell people where they can find you at on Instagram and YouTube, Angie.
Everything is Angie Resells. So on YouTube, you can look up Angie Resells. That's my Instagram name, and my eBay name is Gulf Breeze Traders. When I first moved to Florida, I moved to the next town, which was Gulf Breeze. So my eBay name is still Gulf Breeze Traders. But I really love to do, I do a lot of giveaways on my channel. I do a lot of informative videos and a lot of live listing hangouts or chat hangouts. So I'm always around if anyone has questions or just want to share knowledge. I am all about that. My YouTube channel is really just here so that people can help each other. I have just a lot of knowledge from a lot of years of doing eBay and have helped a lot of people get started on eBay. So now that we have YouTube, it's just a great forum for people to get together and share information and give each other tips and tricks to make, keep eBay at the top of, the list where people want to buy stuff, because let's face it, the better eBay does, the better we do.
Yeah, for sure. So, can you talk a little bit about what some of your goals are next year for 2021 for both your YouTube channel and for reselling on eBay?
Absolutely. This year, earlier in the year, I was working 2 accounting jobs. And so my store has dwindled down to about 1,500 listings. And my goal for 2021 is to get it back above 3,000 listings at any given time. That's going to take some effort because, you could keep listing, but the more you list, the more you sell. So, but by the end of 2021, I would like to be back up above 3,000 on a regular basis. But my YouTube, I'm getting so much better at editing to make my videos definitely more succinct and shorter, but gets the information across. And I really hope to do some how-to videos to help people who maybe are not brand new at eBay, but just some of the little tips and tricks that I've learned along the way that I get asked a lot. I just love to do like little series like that. And quite honestly, I'm not monetized. I'm at like little over 500 subscribers. So obviously I would like to, in 2021, to get monetized, but really just to grow my channel, because I think one thing I didn't have when I started eBay was a community. You were kind of this lone wolf who worked by themselves. And it's amazing since I started doing YouTube, the sense of community that I have, and I feel like there's other people that get me, that when I find something for $1 and I am super excited, the people in my regular life, they're like, okay, and I know I can come on here and people will be like, yes, score. It's just those little things that it just makes it worthwhile to just have people like-minded who are out here doing the same thing and just trying to win at the hustle. So that's my goals for next year, I guess.
Yeah, I definitely can relate when it's like, hey, I just sold this item for $20, and they're like, okay, yeah, and it's like, but I only paid $1 for it, and they're like, yeah, it's like $20 doesn't mean anything to them, but when you're like, oh yeah, I sold 20 of them for $20 or something, when it starts adding up, or then they say, oh, let me see your sales for the past 90 days, then they start asking questions then,
Exactly.
And it's easy to tell somebody, but to get them to actually want to do the work, that's the whole thing. I was talking to another reseller last night, and he said that some of the reasons why resellers fail is, one, they just don't list enough items in their store to get lift off. And my thing is, I think that we need to reinvest our money back into our business. Not go buy a new smartwatch or a new phone or a new pair of Jordans or go on vacation. If you just keep reinvesting your money back into your resale business, it's going to grow. It may take 6 months, it may take a year, but sooner or later it's going to grow and it's going to get there. We had a question in the chat from Tina. She wants to know if you sell or list on any other platforms besides eBay.
Yeah. Facebook Marketplace, because a lot of times I have liquidation items that may not work on eBay, just aren't great sellers. So I will sell those Facebook Marketplace. I do sell a few things on Amazon, but not a whole lot. Once in a while, when I do a liquidation, I'll get like medical braces and things like that, that just the value is so much higher and easier for me just to ship it to Amazon. But mostly I am an eBay girl. I haven't ever sold a thing on Mercari. I set it up a few years ago and just never put anything on there. And Poshmark, it's just honestly, rather than sharing, and some people have great success on Poshmark, but I just don't have the energy to share like you have to in order to get sales on there. I'd rather spend that time listing, and when I list, I seem to sell more. So it just works better for me. And now that I know Becky Park on Poshmark, she did something that showed how many users, and it looked like Poshmark only had like 6 million users, whereas eBay has like 395 million users, active users. So, for me, that's a no-brainer. eBay works really, really well. So that's what I
Yeah,
sell.
for sure. I tried Poshmark for like a week, and I was like, this whole sharing thing isn't for me. I'm like, see ya.
Yeah.
It wasn't nothing personal. I mean, it may work for some people, but like you literally have to go share your closet like 2-3 times a day. It's like,
Right.
just like you eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner, like boom, breakfast, lunch, dinner, you got to be sharing your closet all the time. And like you said, there's not as many users and many buyers on the platform. So it's like, who are you even sharing it to? It's like sometimes I feel like it's other sellers sharing their closet to other sellers. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. And the only reason you're sharing is to get you at the top of the list. You would think that they'd have a better algorithm than that. And some people, I don't know. I just think the more listings you have, the harder it gets on Poshmark, because you have to, share individually a bunch of the things. And I'm just like, I just don't know how people have time for that.
Okay.
It's just not for me, but I'm old school eBay for a long time. And so I just stick with what I know.
Right. Stick with what works for you. Yeah. I wanted to say hi to the reseller Niche. He's going to be on the show later this week, and we got Stevie Solutions here in the chat hanging out with us. So if you have questions for our guests, go ahead and drop it in the chat. So Angie, I wanted to ask you a question since we got you here on the chat. Give us your top 3 tips that would help somebody if maybe they're a part-time reseller and maybe they're thinking about going full-time, or maybe they're already full-time and they're making $1,000, $2,000 a month, and they want to grow their sales to get to the point where they can make $9,000, $10,000 a month in sales. Give us your top 3 tips that would help somebody grow their eBay business.
Okay, yeah, sure. I think the number one thing for me was always set goals. I think we spend a lot of times wishing for things to happen, but the more you set your goals, and very definable goals, will help you succeed, because you're looking to obtain those goals. For instance, for me in particular, I followed Dave Ramsey, and I decided to ramp up about 3 years ago to get out of debt completely. So I had very, very, very clear goals of what I wanted to do with my eBay, because I got out of debt 100% using eBay and setting goals and deadlines for my goals. Because I just think that if you're willy-nilly about it, what odd word, willy-nilly, that it's harder to, you're not actually going for anything in particular. And then I think you need to make sure you're reinvesting your money. I think a lot of people, they get the idea of, I'm making $3,000, actual income, without realizing you've really got to invest a lot of that money back into your business in the form of inventory, so that you can continue to grow. And if you want to build from, 1,000 item store to a 3,000 item store, it takes money. And everyone has their different idea of what sells. And And also, I think be real leery of how much you're spending per item and how long it's taking you.
Angie, are you there? I think you froze up for a second.
Oh yeah. Can you hear me?
Go ahead. You're good. You're good. You froze for a second. I didn't mean to interrupt you. Go ahead. For like 1 second, you froze.
So I just think if you really focus on your goals, make sure you keep listing and keep money invested in your business, you'll do extremely well. And let's face it, guys, eBay is not easy. I have all these friends who are like, oh, you just sell on eBay. That's so easy. It's the hardest, best job I've ever had. And I wouldn't change it for a thing, but there's nothing easy about doing eBay. It's long work, it's dedication, long hours, but it's super rewarding and it's my own business. So it's I think as long as you treat it like that, you'll be really successful at it.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is just listing, because I think sometimes people have a certain goal of a certain number of dollars that they want to sell. And I'm like, okay, well, how much are you listing to match that number? It's like if you say I want to make $10,000 a month in sales, well, then in my head, I'm like, you need to probably do 2-3 times that amount of listing on your store, right? Absolutely. To me, that's what makes sense. I was looking on Instagram today and I was talking to Kat, the nurse flipper. She just said that she shipped out like $2,000 worth of merchandise today. I talked to my buddy, Profit Monsters in Orlando. He just shipped out $1,900 worth of merchandise. But they didn't do that by just, sitting on the sidelines. They were hustling, listing items like crazy. So that's the thing. Like if you say that you want to make $5,000 a month in sales, you need to have your listings need to match up with what it is that you want to sell. That's what I'm trying to say. So if you say, hey, if my goal is, I try not to put a dollar amount on the sales. I try to put a number of items. So like my goal, I'm at 5,000 items and I'm trying to ramp it up to 10,000 items. So that's my goal. So if you just hustle and put in the work, you're going to get there as far as getting to your goal. But to me, it's like I can't control when the buyer buys something, but I can control about how many items I list and what the dollar amount is worth of merchandise that I list. I know it sounds kind of crazy, guys, but when I sit down and list items, I think about it as depositing checks in the bank. And then I'm waiting for my check to clear. And then whenever you hear ka-ching, that means your check finally cleared the bank. So just that's how you get motivated when you're sitting here listing items. You got to think, okay, I'm depositing $500 or $1,000 worth of checks in the bank of my eBay bank. And as soon as this check clears the bank, ka-ching, then we're in business. So you just have to look at it in a positive way to get you motivated to get you from where you want to go. Do you have any other tips or tricks or anything that you can share with us?
Well, about what you were saying, Jeff, is I kind of look at it as, my daily sell-through rate is only about 0.5%. So when you think of how many listings you have to if you want to sell 20 items a day, you have to have enough listings to cover that. So you need to be looking at how many items you're selling every day, what your average
your ASP, your average sell price.
Yeah, go ahead. Exactly. And that will give you a better idea. But yeah, you can't just list $1,000 and think you're going to sell $1,000. That's if only it were that easy. And I think with new people, the biggest thing is they get really frustrated because they only have a few listings. I think you start at 10 and then it goes up to maybe 50 or 100 or something like that. I think the biggest thing for them is make sure you're selling items that people are looking for right now. And try, rather than go spending a bunch of money, start with items you own. Your old video games, old electronics, old telephones, trendier, clothes that aren't that old or you just got and never wore. Something that's going to flip really quickly to build you up some momentum so that eBay sees that you're a good reseller. And to give you a couple feedback, I highly recommend going to somebody who has a big feedback score and buying a few things that are kind of inexpensive. And I know that seems silly, but when you have a big old 0 for feedback, people don't like to buy from you. They get terrified of that. So even if you have a few feedback as a buyer, it's better than having a zero. So if you go with someone who has a lot of feedback, typically they're going to be somebody who automates feedback. So as soon as you pay for that, you're going to at least have one or two. That'll at least get you going. But you got to price your items a little bit less than the competition, just so people will give you a chance with low feedback. And you'd be surprised if you do that. In a few months, you'll be up to selling 500 items.
Yeah, for sure. I think when I started my second eBay store, and my goal was just to get to 100 feedback. So I did something similar where I would buy, small items from China for, 50 cents, $1, whatever it was, just to get positive feedback going in your store. And once you get up to over, 100 feedback, because people don't know you, they can't walk up to you on the street. They only see your feedback on eBay. So if your feedback is 5 or 10, they're going to be like, well, hold on. Angie has the same price item as Jeff has, but Jeff only has 5 feedback and Angie has 1,000. Even though it's the same item and the same price, they're going to go buy from you instead of me because I haven't built up a reputation on eBay yet, right? So it's just the way it works. Well, hey, Angie, we appreciate you coming on and hanging out with us today. I want you to tell everybody again where they can find you at on Instagram and YouTube so they can come by and check you out, okay?
Absolutely. I am Angie Resells on YouTube and Instagram. Would love you to have all you guys come over and visit us. I'll be doing a couple lives this week. And hey, Bobby's in the house, the cat guy. And yeah, would love to have you stop by. And I am always open to questions. I can answer them either in live chats or personally. You can email me anytime. That's why I'm on here. But Jeff, I really appreciate you inviting me. This was super fun. And, I'm honored to be on here because you have had some amazing people on here lately. So I feel super, super honored to be on here.
Oh, for sure. It's just, when you come in and say, I've got 20 years experience and knowledge, it's just different to kind of look at different viewpoints and different perspectives that other people may not have. I wanted to say hi to the cap guy, Stevie Solutions for coming by. Backroad Bidder is here. Reseller Niche. We got Kentucky Fan 42. Tina was here in the house. Sal and Jennifer Hayes was here. So, hey, thank everybody here in the chat for hanging out with us. Go check out Angie Resells' channel. I have links are in the description. And you guys have a great day. I'll see you guys tomorrow. I got Flippin' Ain't Easy on tomorrow at 4. See you then. Bye, guys.
Bye. Have a great day.